Hi, Bill Pattison, Art of Illusion. We've been doing a series on lights and darks and a value chart and how every painting revolves around lights and darks. So I thought maybe do just some layers, maybe some hills, some mountains to show the depth of perception from every little contrast, every little subtlety from that scale that we saw in our chart, if you saw that from, or if you've done one, from white to black. So I'm just going to use two colors, white and black, and so I'm going to lighten in. Go ahead and get started. Maybe put in a very light sky. I'm going to soften this down a little. Just kind of an off-white. And that will kind of suffice. So again, I'm going to do more in series of, or concerned with the lights and darks, and maybe some hills. So I'll come back here and create a first layer. And remember, the lightest lights go farther away from its darker values come closer. So I may come over here and decide, and so that's fairly dark. Now, if we're doing just this is a series of mountains, obviously it wouldn't matter, but if I want to push that back a little bit more, which I may, just a little bit, and I'm actually just drawing with a bigger brush. The great thing about doing hills and mountains, because they are so majestic. Now that's not quite really maybe as light as what I wanted, so I might actually come back here and lighten it up just a little bit more with some paper towel. And sometimes it's harder. That's why if you're maybe struggling in your painting sometimes, if you look, maybe it's not always the values, but when we lose our depth, because again, the darker this is, the farther back or closer they would become. And of course, the great thing with mountains, if you've ever been out west, especially the Rockies, you can drive and keep seeing them and drive and drive and keep seeing them before you ever get up to those. So what I'll do is maybe come down here right in front and do a little bit darker and maybe bring in another row of mountains back the opposite way. Even though it's just a study, I made sure I didn't tee that one up here. Again, I'm not trying to make this a nice painting. I'll probably end up wiping this off just for the series of doing it. But look how that automatically pushes that farther back. And because it is on that value chart, it's more than one value jump. It's about two values. So this is maybe a 2-ish, 2 maybe a 4. And really pushes that back a lot farther. So we could, if I wanted to. In fact, what I might do, add a little bit more depth in front. I may come back here and bring this up a little higher. Come back here again and maybe bring that up a little higher in front of the other one, since we are going to do some more layers. So now it's still that same value, so a bit closer toward us, a bit taller, and I'm going to very lightly soften. Now, if you haven't tried to paint with paper towel, use Viva. It's the magic paper towel out there. It's one of the best brushes you can use without using the brush. So that starts automatic. Look how this pushes that back. That little soft edge. Well, again, we'll start talking about it's. Even though I'm talking series of maybe values, color, composition, it's kind of hard to part and parcel without putting them all back together, because in this case, soft edge is like the light values. Soft edges, we lose that. It goes farther back. Light values go farther back, cooler. But that little juxtaposition in there, lights and darks. And if I wanted the biggest play there, is come back and make the darker dark against that. That's the double whammy back through there. So I think it's pretty good quick study on this one. We're going to do maybe a couple series on this to finish this out. So when we come back next time, I'll finish this out. See you then.